Alright, welcome to Technical Reading Through Games. This morning we're going to change things up, alright? I totally threw out what I thought we were going to do today. We're going to do something completely different. So, I thought a lot about the responses that you gave yesterday. Let's recap first maybe. So, yesterday, all of you did responses based on your gameplay, all right? Actually, could you cut the door? Okay. Yeah, you all did responses based on your gameplay over the last 2 days, and all of your responses were based around finding evidence of the audience in your game. And not only were you supposed to find evidence, but you also had to provide reasons for that evidence, all right? So that's what you did yesterday. I want to say maybe 4 days before that, you did a similar activity, but instead you looked more at nonfiction reading. I think we looked at a MacBook manual, and you guys did the same thing. So I wanted you all to see that when it comes to technical reading, that technical reading kind of spans the gamut. And not only that, but technical reading usually is very specific. There's specific vocabulary that goes along with it, and there's a specific audience that it's written for. Because with technical reading, you're not like reading an entire book. It's not like a reading, right? For a specific purpose. So that's why the audience is so important, I think, for technical reading. So what you're going to do today, instead of playing the game that you have been playing, you are going to jump on a new game. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick someone to flip systems with. Okay. So you're going to flip systems with one person. All right. And it doesn't matter to me who you flip systems with, but the idea is you pick one other person in class. You're gonna switch systems, and then as you play, you are going to respond to one of their responses earlier in this unit. All right, so all of you did a response earlier. The response was having you take a look at your gameplay. This is like one of the first activities we did. All right, so what I did in Google Classroom was I moved those to the top of the stream in Google Classroom. All right, so if you go into Google Classroom, at the very top of the stream, you'll see an activity that I think all of you already completed. What you're going to do is you're not going to complete it again. You're gonna go in and you're gonna take a look at whoever you are trading your pod with, or trading your system with. You're gonna go in and look at their response. You're gonna see what they put for their audience, and then you're gonna be the fresh pair of eyes. Okay, you're gonna play their game, and you're gonna critique their response. We're gonna see whether or not you agree or disagree with what they put as who they thought the audience might be of their games. Make sense? And then the idea then is tomorrow, then you'll have some time to kind of talk through what this means, what this looks like, right? I'm guessing that you're probably going to have a difference of opinion. That's absolutely fine. You do not have to agree with whoever it is that you switch with, all right? So let me go through this one more time. You're going to pick one person, all right? So all of you pick one person you're going to switch with. So do that right now, okay? You cannot be on the same system. Does everyone have someone they're trading with? Teams are all out of the window. So you can go to any system you want. We can have 6 people on the same system. It doesn't really matter to me. That's absolutely fine. So the idea basically is you pick the system you want to go to, and we could have multiple people critique one person's response, and that's absolutely fine too. All right. So basically the idea is you have to know who's going to be on what pod. So what I'll do is I'll write down who is currently on what systems. Okay. You then pick a system that you're going to jump to, so you're switching, all right? So you're doing this for 2 reasons. One, because I want you to critique one of your peers' responses about who they think the audience might be for their game. And they're going to talk about why you might agree or disagree with their responses. The second reason why I'm having you do this is because I want you to look at a different game with the same set of eyes that you've been looking at your own game, the same focus, all right? In the hope that when you go back to your original game, you might notice some things that you didn't necessarily notice before, okay? One of the things I think that we do a lot of times when it comes to reading and writing is we get very comfortable with whatever we're working on, and it becomes much more difficult to be critical of whatever it is that we're working on. So if we have you jump games, come back to your original game, then maybe you might be a little more critical. You might be able to, this last push of this unit, you might be able to see that a little more critically. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write on the board who's in what pods, okay? Or who's on what systems. You decide what system you want to go on, okay? I'll even write what game they're playing, because you have to play the game that pod was playing on that system. So I'll write down the system of the game. I'll write down who is on that, who is playing that system, and then you pick any one or even two or three people, and you're going to respond. So if you pick more than one person, obviously you don't have to respond to every point. But if you only pick one person in that pod to respond to, then yeah, you should address every single one of those points. But if you pick multiple people, you can critique multiple areas. So you don't have to, so let's say there's five. One person, if you pick one person, you might have 5 responses to that one person. If you pick 3 people, you might have 2 responses to one, 2 responses to another, and 1 response to a third. Just as long as you address all of those points, you don't have to address all the points with the same person. You can address all the points with different people. Okay, does that make sense? So it gives you an opportunity to see how other people are viewing that same game that you're viewing. Okay? Does this make sense? I feel like I'm being a little confusing here. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump into our systems. I'll write the information on the board. You pick your pod. You start playing. You're going to want to bring up Google Classroom as well and maybe respond as you play, or if you have several people on one system, you can respond until it's your turn to play, and we'll go from there, all right? And then what we'll do tomorrow is we'll collaborate. We'll see what different people wrote about the same game, and then we can talk about why those differences may exist, and how even if someone designs a game with a particular audience in mind, that doesn't necessarily mean that A, they'll hit that target audience, and that B, that everyone will see that as well, okay? The point of this whole activity is that, yes, you get fresh eyes for your own game, but you also have the opportunity to see that everyone approaches games a little bit differently, and that's okay. The important piece is understanding why people approach different games differently, because that does affect your writing and will affect the way that you read the same piece of literature. That's why you're in class, sometimes somebody raise their hand, like maybe in other English classes you've been in, and somebody will throw something out there, and they'll say something that is completely foreign to you. Like you read the exact same paragraph, but you have literally no idea what they're talking about, okay? That happens all the time, and there are several reasons behind that. And so we're going to that's basically what we're exploring, because we're doing that using games. Does that make sense? All right, everybody's super vocal today. All right, it's Wednesday. Okay, so let's switch systems, respond to other people's critiques of their game and their audience, and we'll see what happens, all right? Transition here. Okay, so it looks like we're in the Wizards here. And we've got, this is the most popular station, looks like, today.
Your body may be invisible, but you still have pockets. You can carry the key in one.
All right, so looks like we're in the Wizards, and none of you have played this before, so this is going to be an interesting learning curve. Okay, so what's really interesting now is we have people that the people who run this pod are giving directions to the people who just joined. This is an apprenticeship at its finest here. All right, talk about collaboration. All right, so this is the first time playing. What are your first thoughts here?
There's so many things that I have to do at once.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna be more ready this time.
What do we have here? Looks important. There's an enchantment.
All right, so we went from our VR station to our Xbox One station, playing Minecraft, and looks like looks like our VR people are now Minecraft people for the day today. So here's an interesting little tidbit. So Minecraft is accessible in VR. You can get it in VR, but I believe it's only like in maybe Samsung gear, I think, VR. So if you had access to this game like in VR, like on the HTC Vive, is this something that you would want to play in VR?
No, because it's different, and it's just not a game that would be, I guess, oh wait, what did I do? Like, VR. It's just not a VR type game.
Okay. All right, now everyone, don't forget. Remember the point as to why you're switching systems is you are critiquing someone else's response in terms of who they feel the audience of their game might be. All right. So what I mean by critique is that you feel free to agree or disagree, but more importantly, if you're going to agree, explain why you might agree, and if you're going to disagree with some of the things that they put on that response, make sure you explain why it is that you disagree. All right? Because tomorrow we're going to talk about, was everyone in agreement on their game, or was there a lot of disagreement in certain games? So we'll see. See if there's a pattern to any of this. All right, so we're gonna hop over to the Zelda group. Now, gentlemen, what game were you playing prior to Zelda?
Minecraft.
Minecraft. All right. How does this compare to Minecraft?
It's very different.
Do you like this game better?
Yes.
Okay. No.
No.
Interesting. All right. So even though you two might fall in the same demographic, you don't feel the same way about these two games. All right. This critique could be interesting. Okay. Are you not a fan of Zelda?
Not really.
Okay. Why? Can I ask why?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you like these big narrative games or not so much?
Yeah, I do. Like GTA, yeah.
Okay. All right. Just not something like this, though, huh?
No, not really.
All right. All right, so my suggestion, as you play, make sure that you write, okay? It's going to be much easier for you to capture your thoughts and feelings as you're going through it than to just do it at the end of the class period, all right? And that's going to be really, really important for you to be able to capture. So... All right, so we're over here with Fez. And what game were you playing prior to Fez?
The War of Mine board game.
Oh, okay. All right, so we went from board game to Fez. A little different, right?
Yeah.
And this is your first time playing Fez?
I played it a little bit before.
How,
Gotten this far into it.
how do you feel about this game compared to this War of Mine?
It's a lot different. It's a puzzle game.
Okay. So it's not, it's strategy, but different kinds of strategy, right?
Yeah.
So, you could choose from 4 different stations, and you chose Fez. Why did you choose this one?
Because I figured there would be the most people at the VR, and plus I kind of like puzzle games.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. All right, so at the moment we're down a station, and the station that we're down is the Boardgame Station, because it would just take too long for a group to be able to learn the dynamics of the board game, while at the same time trying to be able to respond or critique a response by their peers. So we did away with the Boardgame Station just for today. We're going to switch out here. We're going to switch back to the Wizards. Alright. So let me ask you, do you think the VR, other than the board game VR, might have especially for this game, might have the biggest learning curve?
Yeah, because at the moment I have no idea what I'm doing, and I don't know how to look.
Okay.
What I'm supposed to do. So.
All right. Okay. One thing too, just to keep in mind, especially looking at Bartle's player types, you look at the reason why people play games. Think about if your game is the type of game that you can just jump into and play for like 15, 20 minutes, you know what I mean, and then just be done. Or if your game requires a bit more investment to be able to learn what it is that you're doing, you know, those kinds of things. So there's a lot for you to think through as you do this, all right? As you play. Just keep in mind, audience, audience, audience. And be sure to justify too, all right? That's crucial. Alright, so before this you were playing This War Is Mine. And how does this compare to that?
Well, this is an actual video game, unlike This War Is Mine. It's a lot different.
Which is harder?
Currently, probably this, because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, that also brings up an interesting point too. So, you know, sometimes is it, and this is maybe a comment about school as well, you know, are things difficult because we just don't understand what's going on, or are they difficult because the material itself is just very, very complicated? And so you look at like that advanced narrative of that board game, and it's pretty complex. Whereas this, the concept is simple, right? I mean, you just attack things, but the complexity comes in not knowing how to attack. Yeah. So maybe equally as complex, just in two very different ways.
Okay, no, it's just...
Looking for a manual to help you out there?
Yes. No.
If only you had someone to ask.
Well, I do, but I don't want to ask.
That's fair, that's fair. Alright. Alright, so we're back to our Minecraft group here. Alright, so you guys have been steeped in like VR over the last, 2 weeks. Is it different to get back into something like this?
Well, okay, so the VR was definitely, it was like super, like, you felt like you were there, it was immersive. So it feels good to, like, actually play a console game.
Okay, alright, not quite as in your face, right?
It's like more of a, especially on peaceful mode and like creative and stuff, you just do whatever you want pretty much. There's no like rules to follow or anything.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, here's something else for all of you to think about in your pods or your systems. The other thing to think about is the fact that how you responded the first time you did this could be different every single time that you play your game, depending on the type of day that you're having, right? Some days you want to be VR, some days you want to be a console, some days you want immersive experience, sometimes you want you don't want the immersive experience. So is it unfair of me to ask you to critique each other's answers? Possibly. knowing that your own individual answers to this question could change daily. So that's something we'll talk about tomorrow too. All right. So you're playing Zelda before, right?
Yeah, I was.
All right, and you're pretty excited about playing this one, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so why is that?
Because it looks like there's a lot of different things to do, like different spells, and I've never seen like a VR game like this before, like where you get to be like a wizard. And
Who doesn't want to be a wizard, right?
yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, that is cool. All right.
This game would make a great movie. Like yeah, like it's following like kind of like Sorcerer's Apprentice. Oh, it's
So you two. Oh. So you two were playing Zelda.
yeah.
He was playing a board game, right? Totally different level of immersion when you have VR, right?
Yeah, because well, I mean, like you're like physically doing this. Like this is your arms making a giant fireball. Over there, you just press a few buttons and it does it.
So do you think you feel more invested in a game like this?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like it's awesome. Like you're in the middle of a battle, you can trade from a bow and then just pull a shield out and start throwing fireballs, and it's incredible. Put your shield up.
Oh. So. All right. So does this stress you out? Does this stress you out like when the enemies come at you?
Yes, definitely.
But it doesn't stress you out in Zelda.
No, 'cause I mean, like I physically have to turn around and look at these guys. So I mean, I see the looming danger literally coming at me. It's terrifying.
Do you feel like, is this just like a game you can just pick up and just be like, I feel like playing for 5-10 minutes? Or do you have to be like in the right mindset for this thing?
I mean, I just did that, so I mean, I enjoyed it. Kill them with screenshots. You're doing great. You're doing great, honey. Where'd the big guy go? I wonder if we have to like throw something. Make a giant fireball. He makes fireballs.
So you guys have been in this park for a little while now, huh?
Yeah. Well, I accidentally started from.
Oh, okay. Got it.
That feels much better, doesn't it?
All right, so we're jumping over back to the Zelda group over here. Okay, so this is obviously a single player game, right? What if they made this like a co-op? Because you guys were on Minecraft before, so you got a chance to play together. Whereas this one, you have to play alone and watch other person play, right? I mean, what if they made a Zelda co-op?
I feel like they could do it.
I mean, do you like watching someone else? Like, do you like it, like taking turns, or would you rather be like split screen?
Probably split screen.
Yeah. I mean, there's no multiplayer on this, is there?
I don't think so.
All right, so this is definitely for somebody who might be more interested in single-player campaign. You know, not so much maybe not so much us. I mean, you could argue a social player in that you still have to interact with the characters, but I mean, there's no like multiplayer or it's like Zelda Battle Royale.
No.
What if they did it like a Zelda Battle Royale?
I don't know how they would do it. It'd be weird.
So you're saying not everything could be Battle Royale?
I don't think everything can be a battle royale.
All right, so I guess the next question then is, you know, so have you looked at the responses of the people who were in this pod before you?
Yeah, we looked at them.
Do you agree or disagree with what they had to say about the audience?
With Jeremy, I agree because he said like it's for explorers and like the achievers, and I agree with that. And he said like the storyline and all that stuff. Adam said like it was for the younger audience, and I could see why it's for the younger audience, but like it can be for anyone. I feel like.
Okay, that's fair. All right.
Hmm?
All right, so we're back to Fez here. All right, so let me ask you. So I mean, you're responding even like right now. So do you agree or disagree with what what did the previous pod write about Fez and audience?
I said that it might be designed for older teens and older adults, not so much because the puzzles are kind of difficult to figure out what to do or how to solve.
So what? I mean, do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yeah, for the most part, I agree.
Okay, so let me ask you. I mean, you guys were playing the board game, which is kind of a very different experience than a lot of these. Do you think overall most people are going to agree about the audience, or do you think they're going to disagree?
Well, some people might disagree because it kind of looks like it would be for children because of the art style.
Okay, all right. So you're saying you don't think the art style is designed for children? Art style is more of just like a stylistic choice?
Yeah.
That's fair. All right, so the bell is going to ring. You're here in the next 6-7 minutes. I just want to make sure that all of you had the opportunity to respond to at least one post. In Google Classroom. You're going to respond in Google Classroom. All right, so it's the top assignment in the stream. Open that up. Pick somebody from the pod and go ahead and respond to that. All right, and then we'll use that tomorrow for discussion. We'll see what you all put. See how many of you agreed and disagreed, and see if we can figure out why you agreed and why you disagreed. And we'll get to finishing up this unit here on audience. All right, so tomorrow we'll also talk rhetoric. which means how games convince people of different things as well. Okay, that's really important when it comes to audience. So, questions? Anybody have questions? All right. Thank you. Have a good day.